Here are today's top stories. The Philippines braces for another typhoon as Rosita threatens Luzon. President Duterte orders the military to take over the Bureau of Customs in a bid to cleanse corruption in the agency. Rice traders are reminded to implement the suggested retail price for rice, which took effect Saturday, or face penalties. And millions of pilgrims venture to Iraq to participate in the Muslim pilgrimage of Arbaeen. Good day, I'm William Theo.
And I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council is on high alert as signal number 3 is raised in 3 provinces. Signal number 3 has been raised over Isabela, Quirino, and Northern Aurora. The NDRRMC ordered all relevant agencies such as Pag-asa, DSWD, and Department of Public Works and Highways to prepare for Rosita's onslaught once it makes landfall. The PNP has ordered the regional directors of Region 1, Cagayan Valley, and Cordillera to coordinate with the LGUs and activate their respective disaster response plans. President Rodrigo Duterte is also monitoring the movement of Rosita. Meanwhile, the Office of the Civil Defense in Cagayan Valley has started preparing for preemptive and forced evacuation. At least 30,000 food packs, medicine, and water were also prepared. Typhoon Rosita entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility, or PAR, Sunday noon. It is expected to hit northern and central Luzon, particularly the Cordillera region, which was hit hard by Typhoon Ompong last month.
After booting out the officials of the Bureau of Customs, President Rodrigo Duterte is looking at having the military take over the agency. The move is part of the government's efforts to stop the prevalence of corruption. Rom Dulfo has the story.
President Rodrigo Duterte orders the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, to take over the operations of the Bureau of Customs. The president says all employees of the BOC are placed on floating status and everyone will be required to report directly to the Office of the President. He also asked Customs Chief Ray Leonardo Guerrero to train AFP personnel in operating its X-ray machines. The president stresses he does not want to simply dismiss everyone as he intends to follow the law and that those whose records are clean and have not been involved in anomalies are sure to be allowed to return formally. The organizational shakeup in customs is in line with the president's anti-corruption campaign. The Bureau of Customs is under fire due to the smuggling of a multi-million peso shipment of shabu that slipped into the country last month. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
5 police officials included in President Duterte's drug matrix are now in the custody of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. The 5 were former anti-drug operatives accused of recycling confiscated drugs. They were identified along with Police Senior Superintendent Eduardo Acierto, who was dismissed in service earlier. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde says the CIDG will coordinate with the National Bureau of Investigation regarding the cases against them. Albayalde clarifies that the 5 cops are not yet under arrest, although they are required to report to CIDG Director Ruel Obusan. However, they will face administrative charges.
The Catholic Church is encouraging Filipinos not to celebrate Halloween, or rather to keep All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day a spiritual event. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines says Halloween is a celebration of death and wearing scary costumes is contrary to Catholic faith. Bishop Broderick Pabilio says that in contrast, All Souls' Day and All Saints' Day are celebrations of life, where people say prayers, offer flowers, light candles, and bring food as they celebrate this day with the living and the dead. Pabilio says instead of wearing terrifying costumes and masks, he encouraged the faithful to hold Parade of Saints or let the children wear costumes of saints. Several parishes are already holding their own parades honoring the saints. Meantime, Pabilio reminds everyone to go to the cemeteries to remember and pray for their departed.
China calls for Filipinos to fill up their demand for English tutors. And in other news, no Filipinos are reported harmed in a shooting incident in Pennsylvania. More on these and other reports around the globe from Benj Mondo.
China needs more than 100,000 teachers to help Chinese students learn the English language. Professor Zhang Hang says the Philippines is known for its excellent English education program and that Filipinos are offered attractive employment packages for teaching English. China now has around 10,000 English teachers, mostly from the Philippines. Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs says there was no Filipino victim in the shooting incident in a synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A 46-year-old gunman reportedly opened fire inside the Tree of Life Congregation Synagogue on Saturday morning, which left 11 people dead. The DFA expressed hope for the speedy recovery of the 6 other individuals reportedly injured in the incident. In other news, Filipinos need more available information for them to understand federalism. Commission on Higher Education Chairman Prospero de Vera III believes that Filipinos are not against federalism. He said it is important for the government to study the good models of federalism worldwide and try to put their principles together. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondok.
Still to come, rice traders are reminded to implement the suggested retail price for rice, which took effect Saturday, or face penalties. President Duterte attends the Mascara Festival for the 3rd consecutive time. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente. October 18, Huwebes, Manila Hotel. Inihayag ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ang kanyang buong suporta sa investors at businessmen nang dumalo siya sa 44th Philippine Business Conference and Expo. Hinimok niya rin ang mga ito na makipagtulungan kung may enkwentro silang katiwalian sa pamahalaan. October 19, Biyernes, Davao City. Sa inaugurasyon ng Gaisano Grand Citygate Mall ay muling nanawagan ng Pangulo sa mga miyembro ng New People's Army na magbalik loob na sa gobyerno.
Kanang inyong kalihukan, wala na yun na. Pero andam ko mudawat ninyo, mo surrender lang mo, dadain yung armas, ihatag ganako, tagaan tamo og lugar, og balay, og trabaho. Sigurado mo, anak. Matagaan ta mo. Mag-training mo sa TESDA. Paiskwilahon ta mo, pero bayaran ta mo sa inyong pagtuon.
October 22, Lunes, Davao City. Panauhing pandangal si Pangulong Duterte sa League of Municipalities of the Philippines Luzon Island Cluster Conference 2018 na dinaluhan ng mahigit 300 local chief executives mula sa Luzon. October 23, Martes, Naga City. Pinarangalan ng Order of Lapu-Lapu Rank of Kampila ng mga sugatang sundalo at pulis na nakaengkwentro ng NPA sa Camarines Sur. Nakiramay naman siya sa pamilya ng mga pulis na inambush at mga sundalong nasawi sa labanan kontra sa komunistang grupo. Pinarangalan sila ng Order of Lapu-Lapu Rank of Kalasag at may scholarship at financial assistance sa mga pamilya nila mula sa Pangulo. October 24, Miyerkules, Malacanang. Iginawad ng Pangulo ang Philippine Quality Award sa 16 na public at private organizations sa bansa. Kinilala naman niya ang kahusayan ng mga awardee ng Gawad sa Manilika ng Bayan, Philippine Heritage Award at Orden ng Pambansang Alagad ng Sining. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Here's good news for all households. Rice prices have dropped by as much as 10 pesos per kilogram. Rice traders are expected to keep it that way or face consequences. Miguel Hill has his story.
The government will strictly implement the price ceiling of rice starting October 27. Traders caught selling rice at prices higher than the SRP can lose their license. face jail time, and pay a fine of up to 1 million pesos. Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol says government has set the SRPs for rice to help protect consumers from profiteers. He says rice traders must not overcharge consumers as the government considered not only production and related costs but profit as well. The National Food Authority reiterates the classification of rice as either regular milled, well milled, premium, or special rather than the fancy names currently used in the market. Excluded from SRP coverage are special rice varieties such as those produced in the uplands. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Motorists started their week today with good news as oil firms implemented a big-time rollback on pump prices ahead of the All Saints' Day holiday. Oil companies cut prices of gasoline this morning by 1 peso and 50 centavos per liter, 60 centavos per liter for diesel, and 65 centavos per liter for kerosene. This will be the third consecutive week that oil firms rolled back pump prices. Dubai Crude reported a week-on-week price pump drop by as much as $4.90 per barrel. The Department of Energy, meanwhile, says traders are reportedly confident about the availability of oil supply until early next year. The Philippine peso also ended last Friday at 53 pesos and 75 centavos to a dollar, making oil importation cheaper.
The government's initiatives are bound to bear fruit in the long run as top economist predicts growth in the country's gross domestic product until 2019. More on this from Miguel Hill.
Economist Emilio Neri Jr. of the Bank of the Philippine Islands says the gross domestic product is expected to grow by 6.3% this year, up to 7% in 2019. He adds the gross domestic product will likely expand slower this year, but the economy will continue to grow much faster than many of its peers in Southeast Asia. He also expects oil prices to normalize next year, which can bring down the country's inflation rate below 4%. Higher food prices due to the devastation brought by Typhoon Ompong mainly pushed the country's inflation rate to a 9-year high at 6.7% in September 2018. The country's GDP surged 6.7% in 2017. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
President Rodrigo Duterte graced the 39th Mascara Festival in Bacolod City, making this his third consecutive attendance. President Duterte lauds the Bacolodians for a successful staging of this year's Mascara Festival. The president praised the festival as a showcase of the unique cultural heritage and rich history of Bacolod City, also known as the City of Smiles. He added that Mascara tells an inspiring story of the Filipino resilience. Hours earlier, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio joined the afternoon crowd to watch the arena dance competition for the 11 public elementary and high school contingents. In the evening, the chief executive witnessed the performance of the Mandalagan National High School, which was later declared champion in the dance competition.
Malipay yung maskara sa inyong tanan. It is my pleasure to join you once again in celebrating this year's Mascara Festival. I extend my sincerest congratulations to the local government of Bacolod for organizing another successful Mascara celebration. This event is truly a showcase of the unique cultural heritage and rich history of your hometown, the City of Smiles.
The Davao City Police plans to file charges against militant groups, and authorities destroy marijuana plantations in Sarangani. More on these stories from the provinces from Benj Bondo.
The city government of Kidapawan awarded outstanding cooperatives in celebration of its annual Cooperative Month. Together with 44 registered cooperatives, the local government facilitates livelihood assistance program for identified beneficiaries. For North Cotabato, a cooperative congress is scheduled on October 30. In Zamboanga del Sur, an elderly man died while 24 others, including 5 children, were wounded in a bus mishap in Balintawak, Aurora. A lone fatality is identified as Rogelio Alajenio. The bus was reportedly traveling from Ozamis City to Pagadian City when the driver lost control of the steering wheel and fell into a ravine. Meanwhile, the United States government has given the Congressional Gold Medal Award to 29 Filipino veterans for their loyalty, valor, and sacrifices during World War II. U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Sung Kim said the medal is the highest expression of national appreciation from the U.S. Congress for the distinguished achievement and contribution of the veterans. PMA Professor Santiago Busa Jr. said Americans and Filipinos shall be taught about the sacrifice of both nations, which the medal symbolizes as proof of the involvement of the Filipinos in World War II. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Up next, the Presidential Communications Operations Office honors its retiring and loyal employees in its 8th anniversary. Millions of pilgrims ventured to Iraq to participate in the Muslim pilgrimage of Arbaeen. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
After a 6-month shutdown for rehabilitation, Boracay is now open with various measures in place to keep the island clean. President Rodrigo Duterte handed National Artist Awards to 7 individuals led by popular composer and musical director Ryan Cayabyab. The Japan International Cooperation Agency has offered to provide a loan amounting to 38 billion yen or 18 billion pesos for the MRT rehabilitation. An economist of ING Bank Manila remains optimistic that the Philippine economy will continue to expand in the second half of 2018, largely driven by robust government spending. The 7.8 billion peso project, also known as the New Bohol International Airport, features green and sustainable structures, solar panels, and motion sensor lighting, among others. PDEA reported that at least 8,766 out of the 42,044 barangays in the country have been declared drug-cleared as of September 30. Filipinos gave good satisfaction ratings to the Senate, House of Representatives, Supreme Court, and the Duterte Cabinet based on a latest Social Weather Stations report. The PNP said total crime volume in the country decreased by 17% during the first 6 months of this year.
The Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO, honors its loyal and retiring employees today as the agency celebrates its 8th year. Communications Secretary Martin Andanar says aside from acknowledging its retired employees, the occasion is also a time to report on the achievements of PCOO in the last 2 years and 4 months. Andanar vows to continue working towards PCOO's development and maintain communications with various media organizations throughout the country. He says the agency is looking at issues regarding the press corps as well as the creation of its international media group as he anticipates the return of the PCOO to the Office of the Press Secretary. The PCOO chief says it is important to assign a press attaché to the Philippines' partner countries.
Betel nut or mama chewing is a traditional pastime for many Filipinos all over the country. Some Buangueños are especially fond of the product because of its stimulating qualities. Mirko Zapata has this story.
Feeling blue or tired? Chew a mama, get high and feel good. The mama is the betel nut and leaf concoction that is a popular indulgence in Zamboanga City and the regions around it. Many relish it as a stimulant that raises alertness and the feeling of lightness of the body. Betel nuts and leaves are available in Zamboanga City's main public market and in areas with large Muslim communities. It's not just the old Muslim men who chew betel, but even young men and Christians. Students also chew betel to help them focus on their lessons. Many policemen also see the significance of betel chewing as it keeps them alert while on duty. Some people even chew betel to lower their blood pressure. A betel nut roll is made up of a betel leaf locally called buyu that wraps around a slice of betel nut or bonga. An inorganic lime may also be mixed with the bonga paste locally called apok, and some even add a sliver of tobacco and a dash of honey to enhance the flavor. The stuff is addictive and some people chew as many as 20 rolls in a day. Betel use is high in many parts of Asia. A few countries ban it because the red-colored saliva is spit out and makes for unsightly splatter on the sidewalks. Betel is also used in religious and social ceremonies in some Asian societies. But to its users, chewing betel means feeling better. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
In our foreign news, over 2 million Iranians have entered Iraq to participate in the religious gathering of Arbaeen. Millions of people have set foot on the road to reach the holy city of Karbala to celebrate Arbaeen. Arbaeen is a Muslim religious observance commemorating the 40th day of martyrdom of Imam Hussein, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. Arbaeen is celebrated this year on October 30. Iran's Deputy Interior Minister Hossein Zolfalgari said 50,000 Afghan nationals residing in Iran have already registered their names to receive visas for the Arbaeen trek. Over 75,000 other pilgrims have entered Iran from different neighboring states to pass through the country and participate in the annual ceremony.
The San Miguel Beermen now have a spot in the quarterfinals after beating Rain or Shine 109-97 on Saturday. The Beermen outscored the Elasto Painters in the second and third quarters, who was on fire at the start of the game. Kevin Murphy made 28 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block for SMB. Alex Cabagnot added 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist off the bench. Maverick Ahanmisi tallied 26 points for Rain or Shine. Meanwhile, Alaska overcame a slump where they gave up a 32-point lead to win against Northport. The Aces pulled away in the fourth quarter, ending the game with a twice-to-beat advantage in the quarterfinals. People with autism struggle with difficulties in expressing themselves, and they are often labeled as less mentally capable than others. But did you know that people with autism excel in arts?
In this report, a group of visual artists teach some children how to show off their skills through art. Maricor Zapata has the story.
Some educators and artists believe that art can be therapeutic for children with autism. Art, they say, promotes healthy self-expression for these kids and develops them mentally and emotionally as well. The San Mateo Artists Guild and the local government of San Mateo Rizal have launched a weekly art session for children with autism. It's called Art Friday, held at the Activity Center of SMCT San Mateo Rizal. The municipal government of San Mateo has stopped the local Artists Guild to accommodate members of the Autism Society of the Philippines at the weekly art workshop, which was initially meant for mall-goers. According to Autism Society, the Autistic Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, is a complex developmental disability that affects a person's ability to communicate and interact with others. It affects people differently and in varying degrees. The group believes creating art could be an alternative treatment, especially for autistic children who have difficulty with expressive communication. They say the encouragement the children get from this activity can inspire them to pursue a career in arts, such as being a fashion designer or an animator. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's top stories. The Philippines braces for another typhoon as Rosita threatens Luzon. President Duterte orders the military to take over the Bureau of Customs in a bid to cleanse corruption in the agency. Rice traders are reminded to implement the suggested retail price for rice, which took effect Saturday, or face penalties. And millions of pilgrims ventured to Iraq to participate in the Muslim pilgrimage of Arbaeen. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter.
For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and website.
It's a new week, Will. Bracing ourselves for another storm.
Yes.
Yikes.
Typhoon Rosita.
I'm sure most of our local government is preparing.
Yes, and
Right?
we've been very
If not
good
all.
about that.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, with the past typhoons.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll keep praying for you. And we're also bracing ourselves, or not bracing ourselves, but looking forward to
A long weekend
A long
for many
weekend.
people.
Are you leaving?
No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'm working, but many people will be going back to the province and coming back again. So let's exercise safety. I know that there's a lot of things that the government has planned for that.
And because we're media, there's no holiday for
Yes.
Will and I. And that's your daily dose of the latest news.
And information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I'm William Theo.
And I'm Pia Rosas Moroto. Good day.